Fig fam, how are we? It's afternoon, so hydration and figs. Guys, it's probably the best time of the year here in Wilmington, North Carolina in September, mid-September. I have figs ripening. I'm saving them for some edits to share with all of you. But it's just like the best time of year to go around the garden, harvest stuff. If you're in coastal North Carolina, listen, I'm doing a whole round two of tomatoes and it's brilliant. And I'm getting my first flowers on them right here on this cherry. Boom. So beautiful sunny September day. Went to the beach this morning, coming back, going through the garden. And I want to share with you my new favorite propagation method. I love cuttings. I love propagating almost as much as I like eating figs. But you see these air layers that look like burritos of goodness? Well, they're propagations of greatness. And so I want to show you the results of these after I eat this fig. Coldedama ramata, this is what it's all about, guys. See these beautiful variegated figs? They just hang down. And you just pop them right off the tree, and this is the dream of eating figs, guys. Wine red interior. Strawberry jam. This is a 3 to 4 year old tree in a container that is about 4 feet tall with the container. And it's going to give me about 40 figs this year. I could do this all day, guys. This right here is what it's all about. I can't express enough to you how important it is to get a great fig variety for your growing zone that grows well, that tastes delicious. I have them in the ground. I have them in containers. It's the dream, guys. I'm glad I get to share it with all of you. But more importantly, let's see what these look like. I got to put you on a tripod. All right, fig fam, if you tuned into my last video about doing air layers, we're going to take a look at their progress. And it hasn't been that long since I did this. This is a Coldedam Blanc that actually had some fig borers on the trunk, so I'm going to give it a rejuvenation prune this winter. And so before I get to that, we still have a lot of awesome, healthy growth with, frankly, a lot of beautiful, delicious figs on it. And we're going to take these propagations and see how well they did. Because some varieties, like the Coldedams, Black Madeiras, Italian 258s, or Genovese Nero, and some other varieties are actually more difficult to propagate than, say, your common varieties like Celeste or Hardy Chicago, or even the brown turkey, which I don't even grow. What we did before, we scored the bark down to the cambium layer. We wrapped this in soil that is in a Ziploc bag. We zip tied it off, covered it in tin foil to block out the sun, and we're gonna see the results. Let's see how we did. Wow. As you can see, lots of roots up top here, and they've wrapped around the sides where the zip ties are. This is a great, perfect sign. We've essentially created a pot right up here, and it's been protected from sun UV rays. It's really sunny out. I want to protect these roots. But we can actually snip it right from the base, and you can plant that. You can see I did about 3 on this tree. Let's see how this one did over here. Less than a month, guys. Oh. That's fantastic. This is fantastic. If you look on the top here, you can see all these roots. If we're being completely honest, this is one of my favorite ways to propagate fig trees, especially with harder to propagate varieties. The only downside is it takes a lot of the tree to propagate. So when I'm doing cuttings and I take it down to 3 nodes that are solid in length, I like to keep them about 6 inches. You get way more bang for your buck if you can propagate all 3 of those. The best part about air layering is that it still has a source of energy flow from the branches that exist, and it can propagate at the same time in root. The fact that it did so well, we can go ahead and take these off the tree. There are a few tips for when you're harvesting your air layers that I want you to take note of, but for now, I have 3 brand new Coldedam Blanc fig trees off of this mother tree. And I did this air layer about a month ago, and the results are fantastic. So I want to share that with you. If you guys are having trouble propagating cuttings, but you have an existing fig tree, this is a great way to get started and practice and understand how propagation works right at the base of these nodes, breaking that cambium layer, and having a beautiful fig tree underneath. Roots all over. If you look on the underside of this, look at all these roots, guys. And on this back too, all those roots. 1, 2, 3 new fig trees with figs on them. These figs might not stay. This leaf growth might not stay. We have to see how resilient these roots are. Because when you think about root systems, they have these initial sender roots that look for space. And then off of those sender roots, they make secondary and tertiary roots that actually, and see these little ones here? Those are the ones that are actually going to take up nutrients or communicate with the mycorrhizae in the soil to help take up the nutrients. But right now, I have 3 beautiful fig trees, and I think it's time. We have a wonderful sunny weekend right now to move these into their own containers. Back you guys up. I have a fresh new batch of potting mix. Has a little extra perlite in it, but it is fantastic stuff. It is compost, it is peat, and sometimes coconut coir. It is soil conditioner, it is perlite, and then I added some 222 organic fertilizer. That's frankly alfalfa meal with mycorrhizae in it, and it came out fabulous. Well draining, wet, but not too damp. And I'm going to up pot these into these used 2-gallon containers because they have more robust systems than, say, that would just fit into a 1-gallon container. Hopefully you can hear me with the leaf blower in the background. But right now we can harvest these fig trees. And now I'm not saying we need to remove this fruit right now. It might be a good idea if we'll see how it's drooping. If we need to remove it, we can. I've done it before where I've removed these air layers and even all the leaves dropped and then it pushed out new growth. But look at that, guys. Beautiful fig tree. 1 air layer down. Now you can see this tanning. That might be from sun exposure. But we're going to put this right in here in this 2-gallon pot. I'm going to remove a bunch of these figs because I want it to focus on growing and being healthy. As much as I don't want to remove Coldedon Blanc figs because they're like one of the best figs in the world. But for the sake of the tree, for the sake of this video, we're removing them. Now I need to get these zip ties off while being considerate of the root ball. Remember, when you're doing air layers or propagation like this, these are babies. So we have to be babying these trees. But when you have root systems that are bound like this, they can really solidify as a root ball. And we can almost pull this off as like a unit, but the bag is now kind of done. So we'll use this as an example. But you want to disturb it as little as possible. For the sake of this video, I'm showing you how I'm doing this delicately. Okay, I gotta hold it together now. No pun intended. There's my root system. I used Pro Mix BH with the mycorrhizae in it, which is like a peat perlite mix with the mycorrhizae. And all I'm doing is I'm putting right into this pot, disturbing this as little as possible. And I'm gonna tamp this down right to the soil line. That's it. Oh man, you know, I've been doing figs for not on YouTube or anything, but just in the forum and general interest for about, I don't know, 13 years, 14 years now. And I would dream of like what I have. And I'm really, really grateful to have all these amazing varieties. And it took a lot of practice. It's amazing that all of a sudden I'm air layering multiple Coldedon Blancs, and I just can't be any more grateful. And I just hope that you guys get to experience this at some point too, because these are just such amazing trees and they taste so good. Changed the way I think about figs when I had a Coldedon Blanc or a Black Madeira or a Paradiso. But guys, Coldedon Blanc, beautiful, healthy, vigorous branch that is now air layered, and I'm going to give it a nice healthy drink. But we can do this 2 more times. And normally I wouldn't do this with these grade of figs, but because I have the fig borer that really took down this trunk, because it was such a beautiful tree last year, I'm going to have to do a rejuvenation prune when it's dormant. I'm going to cut it right at the base and let it come up from the base. But right now we have a whole nother fig tree. These are really big figs, and fruit require a lot of energy from the plant. So you really just want to be cognizant that even if these are rooted air layers, they're going to take a lot of energy to become their own tree. And so before they can become their own tree, they got to focus on all the fundamental growth of roots followed by leaf systems before they can focus on fruit. For temperatures, when I did this air layering, I had lots of days in the 80s, 90s, but I had nights that went down into the low 60s as well. And so that worked out. When the temperatures start to get below 70, it slows the rate of growth for propagating. But look at these healthy roots, guys. Look at these roots right here coming off of this main strip. That's what you want to see. These roots are great, but the secondary ones that actually take up nutrients, that's where it's at. If you can even see, if you look in here and you see some mycelium of the mycorrhiza, which would be really hard to see, that would be the ultimate win. But this is a nice healthy root ball, guys. But you really want temperatures in the 70s. You really want to disturb this as little as possible. Like, I freak out when I see a little root come out, but we can only do so much. But I'm using a 2-gallon pot. If there's small enough bags or small enough top growth, then you could probably get away with like a tree pot or a 1-gallon. But if you do a good air layer, it's like doing it in a propagation pot, and you don't have to put it into like some sort of rooty medium afterwards. You can put it right into some potting mix. Pat it down all around, get it nice and level like you would with any finished rooted cutting. So right where the roots begin to come out, that's where you want that soil line to be at, or like a fraction above it. Fig tree number 2. I'm taking off the figs again, right? I don't want to stress the trees. I really don't want to take off the figs, but for the sake of this video, and if you're practicing and learning how to grow fig trees, it's really important that you minimize the quantity of plant growth that requires energy. And producing fruit, like I just said, requires the most amount of energy from your tree. So they wait until they're happy and healthy before they start producing fruit. Last but not least, this last air layer. And the tin foil was on there to keep out the light. It can sometimes add warmth, but really it was for light. But if you don't want it too hot, because then you'll cook the roots. And you want to do this pretty fast. For the video, I didn't protect the light exposure quite as much, but you want to protect that light exposure and that heat exposure because these roots are designed to be underground. All right, guys, last fig tree. I'll leave 2 baby figs up there. Maybe they'll ripen by the end of the year. Don't count on it though, because it's not a full fruit set yet. And remember, when you have figs, when they're forming, they'll grow to a certain size and they stop. And they stay at that size, and that's your fruit set size. And for anywhere from 45 to 60 plus days, and then they decide to ripen after that. And I think it's a safeguarding mechanism to make sure that they feel comfortable in their environment and have grown healthy enough throughout the growing season. Because if they do get stressed, they will drop those figs. Whether it's from water, lack of nutrients, heavy rainfall, like too much water, any sort of stress, pests. But yeah. Wow, guys. Unfortunately, I gave up a lot of figs for this, but in return, because I am a plant nursery, I get these awesome fig trees that aren't always guaranteed when I'm propagating them. But look at these beautiful fig trees I have now. 1, 2, 3. All right, zooming you guys out here. I am really excited how these all came out. My mic did go out during these last few minutes. But look, I have 3 Col de Dame Blanc fig trees. I removed most of the figs, and I actually removed a fair amount of the leaves. This was a fantastic result. I looked at 2 other air layers that I did. 2 of them are on my Col de Dame grease tree that you can see right behind me. All of them received roots. All of them came out great. The key to after air layering these figs and potting them up in their own containers is watering them extra and regularly for the next few weeks until they are self-sustaining on their own. It's nice to do air layers earlier in the summer than you think, because you want them to get established in their new containers with some warm weather before the fall weather comes. Yes, they can go dormant as well, and they may not grow for you like they were before on the tree branches because they may be focusing a lot on root growth. So that is something to keep in mind. Hey guys, if this was really helpful for you, subscribe, like, reach out with questions and comments in the comment section. I'm here to help you grow a fig tree. Cheers, Fig Fam.